You never forget the moment someone questions your integrity as a parent. It's not anger that hits first. It's hurt. Deep, suffocating hurt that lodges in your chest and makes you feel like you've failed, even when you know you haven't. My name is Trevor Bennett, and for 20 years, I was called everything from unreliable to a deadbeat. But what they didn't know, what they refused to see, was that I had every receipt. And when the truth finally came out, it shattered the lies in a way I never imagined possible. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and keep watching, because the best part's coming up next. It started in 2003. My marriage to Veronica fell apart after 10 years of trying to make it work. We had 2 kids. Madison was 8, Connor was 6. They were the light of my life. Even as the divorce grew messier and uglier than I could have anticipated, I held on to the belief that we'd find a way to co-parent peacefully. I was wrong. The custody agreement was standard. Veronica got primary custody. I had visitation every other weekend and alternating holidays. I was ordered to pay $800 a month in child support. More than what the state required, but I agreed without hesitation. These were my kids. They were never going to go without if I could help it. And I did help. Month after month, year after year, I paid. $800 minimum, often more. When Madison needed braces, I paid half without being asked. When Connor wanted to play hockey, I didn't blink at the price of his gear. I paid for birthday parties, school supplies, even some emergency medical bills. I was there for it all. But still, behind closed doors, I was being painted as the villain. The whispers started early. Veronica's family, especially her mother Patricia and her brother Kyle, never liked me. I could see it in their eyes at school events, hear it in the way their voices would drop when I walked into a room. They'd say I only showed up when it was convenient, that I was unreliable, unstable. Eventually, those whispers reached my children. I'll never forget the first time Madison confronted me. She was 12, sitting at the kitchen table during a weekend visit. "Dad," she said quietly, "Mom says you don't help with money. Is that true?" That moment broke something in me. I pulled out my bank statements right there on the table and showed her. "See this, sweetheart? Every month. On time, sometimes more." She nodded. She even smiled a little, but I could tell the doubt had been planted. Years went by and the lies kept growing. Veronica remarried a man named Brian. Decent guy, I guess. But Patricia and Kyle started treating him like the father my kids should have had. At Connor's high school graduation dinner, Kyle actually stood up and thanked Brian for being the father figure Connor never had. I sat there in silence, my heart breaking in ways I can't explain. Connor didn't correct him, just looked down at his plate. But the final blow didn't come until last year, when Connor was planning his wedding. 3 weeks before the big day, I got a call from Veronica. She didn't even try to sound kind. "Trevor, we need to talk about wedding expenses. Brian and I have covered most of it, but we think you should contribute more, given how little you've provided over the years." I blinked. Little I've provided? You know what Patricia thinks. And Kyle says you disappeared for years. Frankly, if you can't step up now, maybe you shouldn't have such a big role in the wedding. We're thinking Brian should walk Connor down the aisle. I couldn't breathe. My own son. And they wanted to erase me from his wedding like I was never there. I called Connor, desperate to reason with him. "Dad," he said, torn, "I don't know what to believe anymore. Everyone says different things. maybe it's better to just keep things simple. Simple. That word echoed in my head the whole night. So I did what I do best. I opened my filing cabinets. See, I'm an accountant. I keep records like some people collect stamps. I had every bank statement, every canceled check, every money order, every hand-delivered envelope from the past 20 years. What started as a desperate search for proof turned into something bigger, something almost holy. As I laid out the documents on my desk, a pattern emerged. Not only had I never missed a payment, I had overpaid. A lot. The $800 monthly obligation? My average was closer to $1,200. Over 2 decades, that added up to over $300,000. Then came the twist. I found 17 months where I'd paid twice. Once automatically through my bank, and again by check after Veronica claimed the payment hadn't come through. She had been double-dipping for years. I was furious. But more than that, I was ready. I called my old lawyer, Jim Rodriguez, the man who handled my divorce. "Jim," I said, "we've got a problem, and I have proof." He spent hours reviewing the records. When he looked up, his voice was grim. "Trevor, this isn't just about child support anymore. This is fraud. Like what you see? Click like, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. Let's keep going." We filed a motion with the court to have the payments reconciled and reviewed. Veronica's lawyer tried to dismiss it as a bitter father lashing out. But Judge Martinez ordered a full hearing. October. I remember the chill in the air that morning. I arrived early, 3 briefcases in hand, filled with 20 years of evidence. Veronica walked in flanked by her army. Patricia, Kyle, Brian. They looked smug, like they were attending a victory parade. Connor and Madison were there too, quiet and uneasy. For the first time, they were about to see the truth with their own eyes. Veronica's lawyer spoke first, confident, smirking. "Your Honor, Mr. Bennett missed numerous payments, especially between 2008 and 2012. The family had to step in to support the children during his absence." She held up a flimsy folder with a few documents. Patricia nodded, arms crossed like she'd already won. Then it was our turn. Jim wheeled up the cart with our briefcases. He pulled out the first binder. "Your Honor, we have a full financial history here. Bank statements, checks, receipts, all organized by year." And then, piece by piece, he told my story. He showed every payment, every note written on every check for Madison's school clothes, Connor's hockey registration. The courtroom got quieter with every document. Patricia's smile faded. Kyle stopped whispering. Even Veronica's lawyer started shifting in her seat. Then came the second briefcase. "Your Honor, we also found 17 months of duplicate payments, confirmed by both bank records and endorsed checks deposited by Mrs. Bennett." The judge leaned in. "Are you saying she knowingly accepted double payments?" "We're presenting the evidence and allowing the court to draw its own conclusions." The final briefcase included every extra expense: medical bills, school supplies, Christmas gifts, sports fees. It was overwhelming. When we finished, the courtroom was silent. Judge Martinez looked at Veronica. "Do you dispute the authenticity of these documents?" She hesitated. "Some of those were gifts. And the double payments, I meant to pay them back." He wasn't buying it. "You received extra payments for years and didn't say a word." "That's not a mistake, Mrs. Bennett." Kyle tried to interrupt. "Your Honor, with all due respect..." "Mr. Bennett," the judge said sharply, "you are not a party to this case. Sit down or be removed." Veronica's team looked like a house of cards collapsing in slow motion. 20 minutes later, the judge gave his ruling. Mr. Bennett has not only fulfilled but exceeded his obligations by approximately $80,000. The court orders that Mrs. Bennett repay the duplicate payments with interest, $30,000. Furthermore, we find no basis for questioning Mr. Bennett's financial support of his children. The weight that lifted from my chest in that moment. It felt like breathing after years underwater. As we walked out of the courtroom, Connor came up to me. His eyes were filled with tears. "Dad," he whispered, "I'm so sorry. I should have trusted you." Madison hugged me. "We believed them all those years. We actually thought you didn't care." The wedding went ahead as planned, and yes, I walked my son down the aisle. Patricia and Kyle barely looked at me. Brian pulled me aside and apologized for believing the worst. "Veronica?" She never said a word. But the whispers stopped. That was enough. 6 months later, Connor called me on a Sunday. "Dad, how did you keep all those records? Every single one?" I smiled. Because when someone questions your integrity as a father, you make damn sure you have the receipts. The lesson? It's not just about keeping records. It's about truth. Quiet, patient truth that waits in silence, biding its time while lies make the rounds. And when it finally comes out, it doesn't just clear your name, it sets you free. You know, what really struck me about this story isn't just the betrayal or the courtroom drama. It's the resilience. Trevor didn't yell. He didn't retaliate with anger or smear campaigns. He simply let the truth speak. In a world where lies can spread faster than facts, it's a powerful reminder that calm persistence and quiet integrity can still win. Sometimes you won't get immediate justice. Sometimes people will believe the wrong version of you. But if you stand in truth and have the receipts to back it up, vindication will come. Maybe not fast, but when it does, it hits harder than any accusation ever could. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Cheating Story Lab, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had to prove yourself when no one believed you? We want to hear your story. And remember, truth doesn't rush, but it never forgets.